Hello Culers, it's Pablo here and welcome back to Barca Universal. It's back to the Copa del Rey now for Barcelona as we take on Sevilla away from home in the first leg of the semi-finals of this competition. It is an absolutely massive game, make no mistake about that. This is a huge match for Barcelona and Ronald Koeman. It's one we simply must be ready for. So let's do this, let's get into a massive match preview. And this one will be coming to us live from the wonderful Sánchez-Pizjuán Stadium. Unfortunately, there won't be any fans in there for this one, of course, with the current situation, but it will be that typical 9 PM local time slot over there in Spain. And of course, do not forget, as I just briefly mentioned there, this is a two-legged tie, so this is the first of those two legs. It's going to be, of course, starting at Sevilla, and then at the start of March, we will be heading back to the Camp Nou for the second leg. But unlike previous rounds, basically, this won't be just a one-legged affair, so it won't be decided tomorrow night, is what I'm trying to say. So Barcelona perhaps will look to get some away goals under their belt for this one. Maybe Sevilla will be looking to be a little more conservative, not give too much up in the first leg. So it should be a fascinating game, and perhaps quite a tight one. But let's kickstart straight away with Sevilla. And for me, Sevilla are one of the best teams in Spain. I've said that for a while now, and I've been a big fan of what they've been doing for quite some time now. And I do honestly think that calling them one of the best teams in Spain, it isn't like an overstatement. They just simply are. They're only 1 point behind us in La Liga, of course. They're very high up the table. They're again having a very solid season. They're in the round of 16 in the Champions League, and they've got such a good team, such a good manager. I would say calling them one of the best in Europe is a bit of a stretch, but having said that, when they do go to Europe, play against Inter, United, Wolves, these sorts of teams they played in the Europa League last season, even Bayern Munich in the Super Cup at the start of the season, they really compete. They're that sort of team under Lopetegui with their players. They're an extremely established side. And I suppose in this match preview, I can't really reiterate that enough. We all know, the players know, Koeman knows that Sevilla are a very good team. This is a big test for Barcelona. When I look into Sevilla, I see a very solid team, a very competitive team. Those are the two words I like to use a lot. They're very well rounded, I feel, both in attack and defence, also in control, possession-based football. It's very good stuff. Their coach is Lopetegui, of course, someone I'm a big fan of. I think he's done a very good job at Sevilla, someone who did very well in the Spanish national team before that complete debacle in Russia just before the tournament in the summer. But when I watch Sevilla play, I see they have so many clear ideas. They've got so many dangerous and technical players in midfield and attacker. Also that defensive structure, guys, how solid they are at the back. It's so key to their success, and they haven't actually conceded a goal in each of their last 5 matches in all competitions. So look, with Sevilla, we know how good they are. They're just 1 point behind us in La Liga. They're very competitive. They're a very strong side. They are one of the teams we simply have to look out for, and this is a massive game. But perhaps we've raved on about Sevilla enough. We could go on longer and talk about their wonderful players in defence, such as Koundé and Diego Carlos, and En-Nesyri in attack, and Fernando in midfield, and of course, the old Ivan Rakitic. Papu Gomez has just signed from Atalanta. They've got so many key players all over that pitch. But let's start with this, actually, and say Sevilla are going to be missing some key players tomorrow. There'll be no Oscar in midfield, who probably wouldn't have played anyway. No Acuna, however, at left back. No Navas at right back. And no Lucas Ocampos in attack. So that's 4 players they're out, especially Ocampos and Navas for me. Also Acuna in defence. They're going to be without their fullbacks, without Ocampos in attack. And that's big for me because Ocampos immediately is their danger man. He's the one I think Sevilla and rival fans look for when they're watching Sevilla. He's a really top player. He can score goals. He can go past his man. He's a big presence on the pitch as well. But he suffered a really nasty challenge in their last game actually against Getafe, so he won't be present for this one. Also in the fullback areas though, Navas and Acuna for me, they're so key to the way Sevilla attack. And maybe if they're having to play centre backs out there or players like Koundé at right back, who's done a good job up to this point, but still having no Koundé at the back, having to play centre backs at right back, just shuffle around a little bit. Maybe it's a slightly weakened Sevilla side, and perhaps we can take advantage of that. But let's swiftly move on to Barcelona. Then we've just gone through Sevilla there and how good they are, and having said that, they have got a few players missing. But for Barcelona, guys, this is a massive game. I can't really reiterate that enough. I said at the start of the video, it's a big game. I've said numerous times on the channel, the Copa del Rey is our most accessible trophy this season. It's certainly one we should be going for. We've got through with the skin of our teeth on a few occasions now, probably every round in fact. So we're here, we've got a big test, it's a massive game, we've got to be ready. And quite like Sevilla actually, there's been some interesting team news surrounding Barcelona going into this one, because when the squad list was released earlier today, we already knew there were going to be some absences, but there have been even more. We're actually quite thin actually in our squad right now, which isn't exactly good news. I think we'll be alright, but we are missing some big players. And when you look at that squad list, guys, of course, there's going to be no Roberto there, so no right back. There'll be no Dest either, again. Absolutely no right back option. In defence, no Piqué, of course, but then, of course, no Araujo, who then got injured midweek. In midfield, the likes of Coutinho and Ansu Fati are still going to be out, but then Pjanic is also unavailable for this fixture, and further in attack, even players like Braithwaite have dropped out before this game, and I'm probably missing someone also. There are so many players for Barcelona right now who are unavailable for this fixture. We are a little bit thin on numbers. You've seen players like Conrad, like Collado come in. positives for me, certainly. I probably would actually prefer those over the likes of Pjanic and Braithwaite right now, to be fair, but I'm looking at that defence, having no Araujo, no Piqué again for this sort of game. It's not good news at all. Also in the right-back area, no Roberto, no Dest. It's a little bit of a joke that you feel right there. We just haven't really had a right-back for a while now, so that's getting a little bit frustrating. We'll be looking to see if Mingueza can do a job there for us again. He's certainly had to do that all season long. But yeah, I think you can quite clearly see we are missing some key players there, and Sevilla are probably similar in that regard. But away from the injuries and away from whoever plays, heading away to Sevilla, guys, this Barcelona team simply must be ready. Whoever is on that team sheet, in defence for me is a thing I'd highlight. We've got to be super attentive. We're going to be about some big players back there. Longley, Umtiti, Mingueza, Jordi Alba as well, those sorts of players, they've got to be ready to deal with Sevilla's attackers. Players like En-Nesyri are on hot form, Papu Gomez, Munir, Suso, dangerous players who can jot around the attack and cause issues for Barcelona. They've also got quality in midfield to unpick our defence. So we've got to be really good in defence, I will say that for sure. And also in our midfield, guys, we've got to make sure we control that game. I think Sevilla are a side who like to have possession, but with the likes of Busquets, Pedri, De Jong, there's no reason why we can't overrun them in midfield. But I'm actually looking to our attackers here to make a big difference in this game, because I think when you are playing Sevilla, we've said it there, how good they are defensively. You've got to look for a way to break them down, to really hurt them, because else it can actually be quite a stale game. Thankfully for Barcelona, we've got a really fiery attack. Ousmane Dembele, Lionel Messi, and Antoine Griezmann. That, for me, it spells danger right now. Those are three players on hot form, and Sevilla, it doesn't really matter how solid they are at the back. We've got to make sure we get the ball to those players and make things happen, because Sevilla will like to congest the pitch. They'll make things really difficult for us. They're extremely well drilled. I said that earlier. They've got a very clear system, very clear ideas. Their midfielders, their wingers, they will help out in defensive aspects of the game. So the likes of Alba, Pedri, De Jong, even Busquets dropping deep and causing issues, perhaps with some long balls over the top. Griezmann, Messi, Dembele. I'm looking for a really top game from these Barcelona players. It's a massive game. If we are to win this game, if we can get some away goals in the first leg, those guys are going to be key. But I think also in this sort of two-legged affair, Barcelona have got to make sure that we manage the game. Let's not go completely gung-ho here and just lose the game by 2-0, because then we have to do a really big remontada out of the Camp Nou, and that isn't really what we want. We want this game in control. I honestly think with Sevilla's absences, if they do play quite slow tomorrow, we can actually hurt them. They're very good. They are very solid in defence. But Barcelona have got some key players, so we've got to make sure we handle this situation. We handle the occasion. We haven't actually handled big occasions all that well this season. Even the last round of the Copa del Rey, it was a massive game against Granada, but really, we threw that away and had to really come back late on. Also, the Supercopa final, we really didn't turn up for that game. So, big occasion here. There's some unexperienced players in the lineup, but they should be ready. They should be able to manage this occasion, get some away goals, play some good football, and hopefully take something really positive back to the Camp Nou. But let's move straight on to predicted lineup for tomorrow's game, and I've actually got it quite clear. I've seen the squad list, I've seen everything that's come in, all the news, and I actually had this plan before the squad list even came out. For me, it's pretty clear what 11 players and what positions they should be starting in should be tomorrow. Let's start, of course, in goal with Ter Stegen. It could be Neto for the cup, but look, for me, there is just no need to do that now. We've already benched Neto against Granada. Why bring him back in for our biggest game of the season? There's just no need. Let's get Ter Stegen in there in goal. In defence, for me, it has to be this. Alba, of course, at left back. Mingueza will have to play at right back. And in the heart of defence, Umtiti and Longley. And you may be thinking, yep, that's pretty obvious. What else can he do? Well, firstly, he could put someone like Firpo at right back. I'd prefer Mingueza there. He's done an alright job as of now, and I'm hoping he can do a good one again. In defence also, don't put De Jong there. Please, Koeman, do not put De Jong in defence. He's a massive player, not just for Barcelona, but in Europe right now. One of the top ones for me, so don't take him out of midfield. Let's keep those two centre-backs normal and not make the sort of mistakes we made against Real Betis, where we just made a bit of a mess with our lineup in all truth. So let's get Umtiti and Longley at the back. De Jong in midfield next to Busquets and Pedri. That is the midfield three we have to go for tomorrow. And of course, then in attack, Dembele, Messi, Griezmann. The lineup for me is very clear. I back Koeman to make the right decisions. Let's hope he doesn't do anything stupid. We've got good players on the bench, I know we're missing some key players, obviously, due to injury. But the positive thing is, Conrad, Collado, probably quite underrated just because they're not big names. But really tidy players for me. Top players who can come off the bench and hurt Sevilla. But, the likelihood is they won't really get any minutes at all. But if need be, they are there to help us. But that lineup should be able to do the job. I'm confident in it. Yes, we're a little bit light in defence especially. We would have liked Araujo and Dest. Of course we would have. But Mingueza, Longley and Titi, Jordi Alba as well. We need big performances from them. So to wrap up the match preview with my score prediction, I've gone for Sevilla 1, Barcelona 1. Quite a conservative first prediction for me for this first leg tie. I do think it's going to be that sort of cagey game. Like I said, no team I don't think will overcommit in this one. I am expecting a very good game between two good sides. We know these are some of the top sides in Spain right now, perhaps even Europe right now on form. Two teams playing very, very well. Sevilla looking very solid in defence, but certainly without some key players for tomorrow's game. So Barcelona maybe will capitalise on that. Let's hope we're not too sloppy at the back. Let's hope we're not clowning around in defence, really, because we can't really afford that in this sort of game. We really can't. Sevilla will just pick us off. But in that attack, we've got to see what we can do against Sevilla's very, very solid team. They're almost going to block sometimes, which is very hard to break down. And like I said earlier, I am looking for our top players at the top end of the pitch there to really make the difference. But I've gone for 1-0. I do think it could be that sort of fixture. A little bit conservative, both sides, not really giving too much away. It wouldn't be an awful scoreline to take back to the Camp Nou. I'd back us to get a draw or a win there. So 1-1, it'd be decent. I still feel we can actually win the game tomorrow night. That would put us in an epic position to wrap up this tie and go to the Copa del Rey final. So let's hope we can do it. I'm going to see you guys after the match tomorrow evening. It is a massive one. I'm sure all of you guys are looking forward to it, perhaps slightly nervous for what is a huge game in our season. There's just no two ways about it. This is absolutely massive. I'll see you guys then, though, and hopefully we will enjoy the game. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what this team can do on the big stage. I'll see you guys later. Enjoy yourselves, enjoy the game, and goodbye.